first incident of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, who were both waiting on me at the opposite end of the hall, something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. Ugh!
Hey, are you okay?
No, I felt like something tripped me.
Who did that?
Something probably blonde and bitchy.
Or malicious.
Holy shit! I'm psychic. The three of us looked back to see Lizette and her gaggle of girls. Lizette had a look of complete innocence while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Yeah, that looks innocent.
Yeah. That is what I like to call resting bitch face.
Why, you little... Suzu, don't!
Do it, do it!
Do it! Fight!
Fight! At least let me get some popcorn.
I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at
That's
Lizette.
Dragon's Breath.
Today was not the only time this had happened to me. However, now it was clear who was behind these incidents. How did you not figure it out the first time? Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lizette was the mastermind just from the look on her face. Ooh, you bitch! You know I just lost my... What was it again? Grandfather.
Checks my hand. Smudge writing. Grandfather.
Is it my father? No. Damn it.
I wish.
She was no friend, and she was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something.
Get her!
Get her? You don't want to glare at her soul. You don't want to walk away. You don't want to be the big man. You don't want to destroy her soul. You just want to fucking jump on that bitch. Is that your final
Yank
answer?
her hair out.
Yeah. I agree. I just wanted to make sure. I had fucking enough. I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at Lizette. I was not going to be the only one with scraps this time. Suddenly, a fucking HUD appeared and it became a fighting game. I tackled Lizette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and blocked my attacks. Kick, punch, it's all in the mind.
Stop it!
I think we might have pissed off Naomi.
It's okay.
I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal needs for revenge take over as I began to pull at Lizette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insult. All of this was going to burn in the past as I scraped my nails and hand across Lizette's face and over. You know Taekwondo! Use it! My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Sure you can! Lizette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling.
Are you crazy? What the hell?
Oh yeah, bitch. I'm crazy. Just crazy enough to take your face off. Oh, fucking awesome. Forgot about that.
What?
You remember that bit?
Oh.
Oh my god. That's a fucking Twitch emote right there.
You ever get partnered, that's your remote.
I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lizette's soul through my eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me, or maybe I looked like the monster myself. The gaggle of girls, Lizette, and even my friends had a look of pure terror on their faces. I had enough of you, Lizette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna fucking get it. Holy shit. I charged Lizette a second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as I smacked the back of her head against the middle.
I swear, we're nice people.
This is so cool. I actually, legit am super hyped right now.
I wish there was actual drawings of this.
I wish it actually turned into a fighting game.
That would have been amazing.
Okay, yeah. Do you know the movie The Room? You've heard of that, right? There was a Room...
I did not hit her. I did not.
Yeah. There's a Room video game.
Yes.
And it's mostly like an RPG Maker style visual novel type thing. It's mostly just like, go here, do this. But there's a part where you have to fight the fucking drug dealer, and him and his best friend team up, and it turns into a Pokemon battle.
Can we play it?
Yeah, sure. It's so good.
I wanna
And
play
one
it.
of your abilities is fucking throw shoe. And, yeah.
Anyways, back to the fight.
Charged at Lizette a second time, blah, blah, blah. Shoving her against the lockers with her head against the metal behind her before glaring and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lizette raised her hands ready to fight.
Then come on, Anderson. Show me what you've got. I bet it's not much.
I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my fists, remembering my Taekwondo. That's legs, damn it, legs!
Kick her.
I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised a leg. I quickly snapped onto what? I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised a leg to get a swift kick at her head.
She attempted to kick.
But she blocked with her arm and stepped forward at me to jab. She had training, not surprising. I didn't care at the moment. I bent back away from the incoming jab, re-establishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Zet threw jab upon jab at me, forcing me to block my torso and arms with her. My torso and face with my arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lizette and I exchanged and defended blows at each other.
How was there not a crowd around us?
Yeah, it was indeed more than just a cat fight. This was a ventral duel.
That was a teacher, not a PA.
Where was all this when the fucking demon was attacking us?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, devil. In my mind, all I saw was Lizette. All I wanted was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then so be it. I have gained suddenly a lot of respect for our main character. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silent but observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lizette's girls dared step in, apparently afraid to after seeing our skills and our individual fighting styles. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arm, despite both of them wanting to help me. They didn't wait for it to end though. Suddenly, Lizette was pulled away from me, and I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lizette hit the lockers as well as the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. Who the fuck are you? I looked up to see my art teacher, Miss Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face.
Miss Anderson, what are you doing?
Oh, she's Miss Gordon. I thought look of concern on her face was that on the right.
I should go heck over me.
It's just kind of like, say what?
Anyways.
We were both fighting. Why is the question directed at me? I looked to see Lizette being held back by Mrs. Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No, don't you dare start crying, Lizette. You started this.
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
Bitch, you've got a hold of me.
Literally.
What is wrong with you? Can't you see I'm writing in all caps? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hall. Lizette and Miss Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I'm so sick of it. Leave me alone. I'm so getting expelled. Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down Miss Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to her to keep me upright as Lizette sniffled and confided with Miss Phillips. Man, this is just like playing bully. As soon as the adults show up, you've just got no fucking chance.
I didn't do anything to her. She just attacked me all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, and you were just throwing jabs like it was nothing.
That's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death. I try to keep everyone calm. Is that so wrong?
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Which is true.
I that's all valid, but can we just take a second to examine Miss Gordon?
Which one? Oh, her.
The one who has heterochromia.
Mm-hmm.
And bracelets that don't make any sense.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Also that arm.
Yeah, what is that? Ooh, what is happening to her? What the
That's
fuck?
really fun.
How many rings does she have?
One per finger.
Jesus Christ, you are so extra. Okay.
Enough. Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Wait, who's Miss White? Oh, that's not us.
Lizette.
Ooh, we're fine.
We're Anderson.
Yeah, ooh. Lizette followed, wiping her eyes in the feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Miss Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight to get Lizette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lizette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lizette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me.
Come with me, sweetie.
I nodded and followed. My friends watched as I was dragged in a headlock all the way down the hall. Ow, 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 ow. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the walls. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing, the mirror in the very back of the room. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Ooh, that's clever. Except it totally wouldn't actually work, because if you're holding your phone like down that, it's blocked by your back.
Oh, but it depends on how the mirror's angled.
I mean, if it's on the side wall,
You're fucked.
yeah. But if it's at the back of the room, that's not going to tell you anything. Unless you're like doing that. It's like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm just scratching the back of my head.
You won't be able to see what you're doing.
Oh.
Anyways.
Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it.
What do you see?
That is way too small. That mirror is not going to show you anything. Anyway, do you want to read for a bit? My voice is actually going.
Okay. Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked in the mirror and I saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight. Beyond that, I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
All right. What else?
I see your blatant heterochromia. And the fact that one of your green eye is identical to mine. Like, copy and pasted identical.
What else? I don't understand.
Do you know what I see?
Oh, God. It's going to be one of those talks.
I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
Adversity. God, you're supposed to be the teacher. Fucking amateurs.
Maybe the person who voiced her wasn't.
Oh yeah, because all the other people were true to life with their rules.
Anyways. What does this have to do with what happened with Lizette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
Oh my God, her earrings are color-coded with her heterochromia.
It's swapped.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'm a bit disappointed her shirt isn't two colours now.
She's wearing a green shirt and blue jeans.
But it should be like, that half should be green, that should be blue, and then that should
Nah,
be
that's
blue
too
and green.
much. Like, but it's her.
Go
but,
for the full thing.
But her color scheme is very much green and blue, and it's all based around her fucking
Her
heterochromia.
hair should be green and blue.
Oh God.
It's the one thing that's not, it's upsetting.
I will not be okay with this unless she says those are contacts.
Anyways.
So I have that weird thing about it. Like, I hate how anime has heterochromia. Like, oh look at how cool this character is. It's like, that's a fucking medical condition, and it has so many fucking drawbacks. Like, fuck.
I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened with Lizette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulder, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me through the mirror.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves. Taekwondo.
Well, at least you finally learned that Taekwondo's legs, not fists. Why do you have two sets of headphones on?
I just realised I'm wearing two sets of headphones. Because the wire from one is knocking against the other, and I'm like, what is that noise?
How long have you had those on?
The whole time!
How have I just noticed? Anyways.
I put them on when I went out of this house to go meet you at the bus stop, and I just forgot they were there.
Yeah.
You'll have to show me one day.
I laughed as hard as she hugged me. I laughed as she hugged me gently.
Look, don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
Her arm looks weird.
Okay, teacher, I understand. Wait a minute.
Doesn't that arm look weird?
Yes, it does.
It should be more like it's coming down.
I mean, if you think that's weird, do not look at our main character's hips.
We can't see her hips.
I mean, more like it's the position of her arms relative to her chest. Looks very wrong.
Yeah, it does.
To
be fair, the art is nice. It's just some of the anatomy just is a question.
It's all the anatomy. It's the anatomy
Yeah.
is all fucked up in places, and it's not even. We haven't even seen the worst one.
Oh God.
Oh, when we get to it, because I have a feeling you'll go down that route. I looked up at her and nodded silently. It was cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I needed to focus on myself first.
She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lizette. Fear about my family learning of this happening would quickly appear to had vanished when she promised to keep me out of it as much as she could. Blah.
You're gonna keep me out of a fight witnessed by the entire school between me and one other person. Yeah, Lizette was just in the corridor fighting
Herself.
a shadow person. She was just punching her shadow. It was weird.
Yeah.
Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get into any more fights, okay?
Fight.
Now, head to class.
So if I get into a second fight, is that just gonna mean like small amount of detention?
Yeah.
Like no, you'll get expelled. Straight from warning to expelled.
I
No
nodded-
middle ground.
I nodded before heading to class. Surprisingly, the rest of school went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home.
I want to point out. Now, did we make a choice at any point? We did. It was
Yeah.
because we chose to. Okay. I want to point out that the narration said the first incident of the deer when that, but just before that fight happened.
So the fight was the second.
No, he was referring to that entire thing. Yeah. It was the only incident of the deer. Unless you can avoid. Maybe there's another incident if you don't attack her.
Mm.
Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to classes, had
Why
lunch,
did you read it?
and I was just trying to, get into the mind space.
As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket.
Moshi.
Huh? A text? From Dad? Oh, fuck.
I heard you were in a fucking fight. Why is this not voiced?
Be picking you up today. Make sure you already went. Maybe Suzu called us instead of
Well, she
texted
said
us.
it said it was a text.
Yeah, but maybe she rang instead, and they just confused the two for a second. Who knows? That's kind of a surprise.
Quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting with Naomi and Suzu.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Hey,
Actually,
about that.
My dad's picking me up.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense.
I mean, I thought he hated you, but you know.
We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
Yeah, okay. I'd rather go home with you two. Yeah, alright.
Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this? Or was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I mean, I can't imagine what he could possibly have heard about. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading out to the usual spot where my dad picks me up. I took the time to listen to my music while I waited. I really need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert.
Eventually, I'd played the entire album with no one showing up.
An entire album. That's like an hour and a half of music.
Yeah. Depending on how long the songs are.
What the heck? Dad's never late, especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but as soon as I pressed call, it disconnected and read a signal disconnection error message.
What the? No signal error? How could I not have signal?
I double-clicked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. That's fucking lies.
Yeah, you're never gonna get all 5.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, like, it was on QI once where they talked about how, like, there's no agreed-upon standard for signal strength between carriers. So that indicator that shows you 5 bars literally means fucking nothing. It doesn't mean you have 5 bars. That's the same as another company that says 1 bar. It means nothing.
Anyways, he must be in a dead zone.
Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed at my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. Oh no. Oh no.
Safe?
Yes, safe. I think we're in it for a boss fight.
Boss fight. Boss fight.
I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. I felt disgusting and scary, feeling their hands on me. I needed it to stop.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey.
Oh no, this is not my kink.
Might be yours, but...
No.
Anyways.
Hey, shifty eyes. The voice which sent a fearful shiver down my spine whispered into my ear.
What's her name?
That was not a whisper.
No, that was quite a...
We haven't heard her name
You're
yet.
coming with me, Miss Anderson.
Mr. I'm not bringing that joke back. I couldn't fathom what was happening. I mean, it's almost like this happened earlier and they threatened to come after me again. Oh. Before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or a van. Doors closed and off I was taken, unsure of where I was going or why. Damn it, grandfather, your protection charm didn't do shit. All I knew was that I was in trouble. All I saw was darkness. I felt numb as I was taken to a place I didn't know of. I couldn't even move my lips to scream. Sounds zipped past my ears. First of all, the interior of a car, then the outside, and then an echoey space with whispers and cackles of people vibrating through it. Look at this fucking place. Generic warehouse number 5. However, the wrap around my eyes was eventually removed from my face and my bonds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by devils, including Malix, who was smirking at me.
Nicely done! I'm sure those
Don't
little
make us
shits
laugh.
will come running to
I don't want
find
to give
you
voice.
when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Hey, now you may have kidnapped me, and you may have roughhoused, and you may be intending to kill me. But let's get one thing fucking straight, mister. That mansion is not small.
It's bigger than your deep.
That is slander. Did you just reload your magic pistol? Malix walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
I don't remember exactly. I think this game does actually have game overs.
Fight!
Fight, 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 fight,
Fight!
fight.
Fight! Fight!
No way this was happening. No way was I going to let myself be a victim of this. I gotta remember. What was in that book?
What are you whimpering? Are you praying that the boys will come and save you?
I kept grumbling, trying to remember, and shut my eyes. Studying for a brief second wasn't enough to keep a spell in my mind, but I had to try something. Anything. All of a sudden, the air grew still and silent. Now, I told you about something that you thought was ridiculous the first time we recorded this. Maybe you remember what it is, but you're going to remember pretty quickly.
I think I know what it is.
Everything was frozen in time as if the clocks had stopped and everything had followed suit. What the? At first, I instantly wanted to move, but my feet were glued to the ground. I guess I couldn't change time and escape from where I was, but I was still lost. What was I supposed to do? A soft wisp of wind made me turn to a floating light purple orb. I stared as it glowed, giving off a warm feeling. For some reason, this thing made me feel happy and content.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
Stop it. Despite the situation I was in, my heart felt like crying, yet I didn't know why. It's because she keeps singing that fucking song.
If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands.
I'm never happy. It couldn't have been grandfather? Holy shit, it's the grandfather! He's back from the...
Yes.
Well, not quite.
Was he even dead?
Yes, he's
Is
dead.
this the real life? Is this just fantasy?
Caught in a landslide, no
No
escape from reality.
Okay.
Sweetie, I'm sorry for not telling you, but I didn't know if you were ready to know.
That you handled demon magic? That's the least of my questions right now. We put you in the ground last Friday. How are you here?
Yeah.
Yes,
Why? What is there to gain from learning and using demon magic other than, like, immortal life and tons of sick powers? Oh, wait, that was a stupid question.
it wasn't a matter of gaining anything except knowledge. Through magic, I was able to learn more about the demon world and its wonders. I even met your incubi friends.
You met the boys?
Yes, it was I who helped them come here, but it seems it was at the cost of my life.
What? Why? Why sacrifice yourself like that? None of this made any sense. He had died to bring the incubi into the human world? Why? Why?
Was he trying to set me up with them?
Was he trying
Grandfather, really? That was not... Don't kill yourself
Yeah,
to
like,
give me a horror.
I
That is
want-
not
I
a
want
good
some
trade.
You could ask first.
At least wait till you're on death's door first.
Yeah.
My mind was practically screaming in anger.
I needed answers. With time being frozen, we had all the time in the world. Why would you die for something like that? Why leave us alone? Why leave me alone?
Yeah, me specifically. I'm the only one who mattered.
Yeah,
I
fuck my
wasn't
dad.
intending to, my dear. But now that I'm gone, you have a chance to find yourself without anything hindering you.
Are you implying that you were hindering me?
Yeah. What?
What?
Your father had always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that. He learned of my studies before he married your mother and pushed me away, promising to never follow in my footsteps.
Because you studied demon magic? Does he even believe it's real?
Maybe?
Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think about this for a second. Fuck you, Dad. How dare you study demons? I'm never gonna let you spend time with your granddaughter, and I'm never gonna follow in your footsteps. Oh man, this is awkward because we have to go to the same board meetings because we work at the same company. Like, could you imagine that? Like, oh, well, I also forgot. Look at the fucking text on grandfather.
We pointed that out already.
What the fuck is that?
Granyava.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Your father has always been so hard on you. I'm to blame for that.
As he was my son, I still loved and cared for him. I helped him in little ways, from paying bills and making sure he had food to come home with by adding money to his accounts. You don't know how hard your father worked to get to where he is now.
At the same company. I stared, trying to take it all in. It was true that my dad worked really hard, but I didn't realize how rough he had it.
When you were born, I couldn't have been any happier. I tried to give you as many toys as I could, but many of them were tossed away by your father to protect you from me.
Did he think the demon magic was in the toys?
Probably.
It's quite possible.
I thought I would never be able to see you, but when I found you on the street, I was blessed enough to be given a chance. After I brought you back to your parents, I asked your mother to convince your father to let you visit me often, and he finally agreed.
Okay, Dad. Since you found my child just randomly in the street, I guess you can see her occasionally.
Like,
Still don't
once
like
a
the demon magic. But okay.
Still not for it.
Why does Dad hate you so much? Why put that on me?
Your father saw me as a monster. He was afraid I would hurt you. He wanted to protect you from me at all costs, even if it meant becoming a monster to you himself.
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
You are both idiots. You have ruined my entire upbringing with this stupid bullshit.
You did not know my father. You did not know what he was capable of.
'Cause you never told me, Dad. Fuck you.
He truly does love and care for you, but he doesn't want you to be as curious as I was.
So he tried to crush my individuality? Yeah, thanks for that.
Thanks, Dad.
Fucking asshole.
He really is.
The amount of problems that could be solved if people just fucking talked. You know?
Yeah.
There are so many fucking shows and movies and all that, where if characters would just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds and have a conversation, a civil conversation, the problem would go
Fix
away.
everything.
I chose to learn about magic. I grew curious about it. He thought that was wrong. So when I didn't give it up, he shut me out of his life.
What a stubborn old man.
So I did the only thing I could do. I gave everything I owned to you, including my hidden books your father never knew of.
My head began to spin. You didn't give me those books. You fucking hid them in a drawer with a retinal scanner.
Yeah,
Who was supposed to find that? There was no fucking way any normal person would have found that.
Unless
I'm
they like
just
us
so
and the
happy
curious
that my
little shit.
curiosity stayed with you.
Oh yeah, you were really banking on that. So my grandfather met the incubi. That seemed so surreal. I could hardly believe it. Yet here was the spirit of my grandfather telling me that he summoned 5 incubi into the human world for reasons.
I'm just thinking now.
Grandfather, is there something you want to tell me?
What would have happened if we hadn't explored and hadn't found the spells?
I think you have to. I'm not sure. I also went to that event, but I don't know if I picked the same choices. So I don't know if you can avoid that.
We'll find out.
We also haven't cast any spells yet. This just happened. Probably because of the protective charm that he put on us.
Yeah.
It's almost like a dream. So you introduced them to the human world?
That's right. I told them about the wonders of our world, and they all wanted to come to experience it. So I helped them come over and gave them everything they needed. They traveled everywhere, and I helped them as they learned more about humans. Then, I suddenly stopped breathing. I don't know why, but I believe it was because my time was up. After I died, the boys tried to come back. However, Malix attacked them instantly when they crossed his path. I used the last bit of my strength to guide them to the estate so they had a place to stay to heal.
Okay, I just... Like... Is it just me? Does it crack you up at all, the way that line is delivered? I just stopped breathing. Like, that's the most matter-of-fact way of saying I fucking died I've ever seen.
When I look in your eyes again, I get trapped within you again. How come I am the one who's enslaved?